We can't just win with Democrats. You know, 40% of the country are independents.
But 51% of the country are women.
Yeah, but I mean, do you vote for somebody just because they're a man? I don't vote for somebody just because they're a woman.
No.
Bottom line is, I support somebody that has the best health care. I don't care who it is, because I'm self-employed and I have to pay for my own health insurance when I can have it. You know, some years I can't have it because the cost is so high. I would say I have more fear now that we will not get a resolve to a health care that will work for me or anybody else that's self-employed.
So what stands so strong with me with Cory Booker is that he inspires and lifts up. And when the whole country is down and torn apart, we need somebody to lift us up, but also to tell us it's not just that we're going to win and you're going to lose, but that we need to come together. And if you listen to the theme of the whole debate here, and then you saw different people kind of attacking each other, and I don't like to listen to that, and he was the peacemaker. And so we need, in my mind, we need a peacemaker that lifts us up, and he's it. He's lived his life that way.
Cory Booker, Julian Castro, and Pete Buttigieg are also even keel and so wonderful in getting their message across without being angry like Bernie Sanders or raising their voices like Joe Biden or Elizabeth Warren. That's what I want. I want some calmness and just some peace in our country.
This isn't an election about an issue. This is an election about the decency of America and restoring America. And I think it's not an issue that's ever come up before in a presidential campaign. It's been a given that we all stand for America.
We're all decent.
And this is the first election ever that has even risen as an issue.
My number one priority right now is an 8-year presidency. I don't want Joe Biden for 4 years or Bernie Sanders for 4 years. I want somebody who's going to get in there and then move us forward.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.